only because, and also because you meet nicer people. It's a more mature genre. You get a lot more idiots who just think that they're the best people on the planet. But overall, my experience with the PS3 has been the best community I've played with. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. I personally think PC has the best online community out of all of them. On a PC, well, first thing.
So typical you. I knew you're gonna go PC on it.
Of course I am.
I agree with you. I agree with the PC thing, but make your point.
All right. So what happens is when you get a console, anyone can pick up a console. Anyone can ask, 8-year-old kid can go to his parent, ask for Christmas to get me a console, and you can pick it up and play it. Anyone can do that. So this is where you get, the 9-year-olds whose parents aren't home for the day, so they're cursing their heads off and trying to make themselves sound as old and mature as they possibly can, when all they're doing is just digging their grave deeper. And then you get also to the people who whine and complain about, oh, you're hacking, you're a cheater, this and that, and you just get that general crowd of people. On a PC, when you join an online game in a PC, so I'm going to use something like Team Fortress 2, for example. We're going to refer to that game a lot.
Just like your favorite game ever.
Aside from that fact. But when you go online, you're going to find a server.
Here comes the bias, by the way.
But when you go online, you don't just hit a button, join matchmake. You actually go and search for a game. You go and search for a server. So you're going to already go for servers that are going to appeal to you. And on a server, you're going to get a different community of people. So you can get a regular server, just like you find on a console when you just join up and anyone shows up. And then you kind of get these sort of private servers, which have a more selective group of people. And when you're on a computer, you're doing it automatically with a more mature crowd. Because it's a little bit more difficult to just pick up a computer and go. And then when you get onto PC, there are mods, there are plugins, there are alterations to the game that the players make themselves and introduce to the game.
Those which span infinitely over time. There's so many mods for Halo 1. There's a huge community just modding that game.
Yeah, so you get this large community producing tons of user-generated input and user-generated gameplay that increases the longevity of any game. I mean, let's look back. Diablo 2. How many of you actually know what that game is? That was released in 2000, and it is still played now.
I was playing it.
Yeah, me and Ten Tim over here, and even sometimes Chief once in a while, still play Diablo 2. I mean, that's a 10-year-old game, but it's on PC and it still lives. So honestly, I think a game put on PC automatically increases its longevity just from the community itself.
Yeah, I agree with your longevity point because a lot of times, I mean, we're losing a lot of backwards compatibility on some of the other consoles, but the PC longevity is, you get a crowd of people, you start to like a game, especially MMOs, I guess, live the longest over time. But, they have a lot of people, and then until the sequel comes out, that's when people will stop playing usually. And there's, of course, exceptions out there, like Halo 1, because a lot of PC people are upset with Halo 2. That's another discussion for another day. But I'm going to say, as far as my community, I'm going to have to agree with the PC argument, because, I mean, that's one of my primary consoles, but there's things on the PC that you just don't get anywhere else, which is things like just streamlining things like being able to talk to whoever you want. I can't think of a game where I couldn't mute people talking, if there was talking at all. And say Twisted and I were playing Team Fortress 2, shut everyone up, and then I'm on him with Skype, and we're just talking on our own. There's just, talk about third-party content. Take a step back. What is third-party content? On a PC, third-party content is stuff that was made not by Microsoft or something like that, or not by a Linux company. But on an Xbox, it's like it all comes from Microsoft in the long run because they have their logo on it, but it's coming from a different developer. But third-party content, that's like PopCap Games, Plants vs. Zombies, free downloadable stuff. You want to talk about free downloadable content? There's infinite downloadable content. Probably a lot of it bad, but so the same thing on a lot of other consoles. You look at downloadable content, you're going to look at the PC, there's infinite. There's just more. There's so much. The internet is kind of hard to compete with when you want to talk about communities. And we talk about developers and like developer communities. There's websites like Chief alluded to. There's things like Bungie.net and all that stuff. All these websites just make the PC online the most superior to any other console out there. I mean, we can like rule out the Wii because of the friend codes and all that crap. But I mean,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, I don't really know much
There's very
about.
limited voice chat for the
It's so slim. You know, we could just cut that out. But I would say, you know, we look at PS3, you look at Xbox, you kind of have one. They're kind of in the same league, but you look at the PC, it goes above and beyond. It's just a new plane of awesome on the PC.
Yeah, I just want to jump in and, like, I think both of you have brought up good points, but I think one thing you have to consider is that there's a huge divide between what a PC gamer is and what a console gamer is. I mean, you know, Twisted brought up some of the negatives about the whole console gamer is that, you know, it could be given to a little kid and then he goes online and he just starts cursing, you know, thinking he can, you know, dominate everyone. But another thing you have to consider is this is a far more accessible system than the PC. I mean, you have the whole server system on the PC, and if you get a great server that you can, you know, find great friends with and everything, that probably works great, and you probably feel like you're a part of a good community.
That's really the beauty of it.
But at the same time, it's often difficult to find a situation like that. With matchmaking, you can just pick a type of game type you like, you can join up with your friends, and you can just jump right into it. And you don't always have that option. And I mean, obviously there are some negatives also with the whole, you know, user-generated content, you know, being limited, and companies like Microsoft and, yeah, especially Microsoft and a little bit Sony, are trying to cut down on the types of things that you can bring into their games. But, you know, they're still trying to get out the quality content. The major releasers are even trying to get it out free. But, you know, I think another thing to consider is if any viewers out there, if they want to mention how they feel about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for PC, it was one of the first titles to actually try and include a console-like matchmaking system.
Didn't like it. It was panned. A lot of the guys hated it. They want like their own PC way because it's what we've been living for years.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it. It was definitely, you know, attacked initially. If anyone wants to, you know, bring up a point about that, I think that's fine. But I think that's just it. There's a divide between what a PC gamer is and what a console gamer is. If you gave a console gamer what a PC gamer has, he wouldn't like it. And if you gave a PC gamer what a console gamer has, he wouldn't like it.
I guess you bring up a good point, and I guess you know, I'm more of a PC. I've been living on PC for quite a long time, and you know, that's a good point. But if we're gonna talk about straight content, the PC offers just more outlets, more stuff. You can get so much more going on your PC. I mean, also partly to do with how big the, you know, hard drives and stuff on them are now, and the amount of customization you can do. It's just gonna give you more, but it's limited. But if we're going to talk on the plane, people don't think of the PC as a console, but it's out there. It's really strong. It's definitely it's the longest ongoing platform ever. Okay, the PC has been making games a lot longer than any of these other consoles, and it shows because there's so much more to be offered on the computer than any other console.
Also, Chief talked about accessibility. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure almost every household in America that has a console has a PC. If you own, and I just don't mean a PC, Macs are included too. Yes, there are few games out for Macs, but there are still some. Anyone who has a computer can become a PC gamer. You just go out, you buy a game, and you find out what wonderful fun you've been missing.
Yeah, but I also like to think, yeah, while that is a valid point, there's the whole accessibility idea, and, you know, the idea of, like, the console gamer wants, you know, to buy a box where they don't have to upgrade it any time in the future, and they can just, you know, they put the disc in, and then, bam, they're playing.
Upgrade. I'll tell you what upgrade is. It's called buying the next system. You're just paying through the nose for another version of the same thing you already own.
The only problem with the PC, though, is you have to get upgrades for the PC also. Because, you know, with the PC, like, when I had an old PC, that only played Doom. And although I love Doom, Doom was awesome.
What the fuck kind of computer did you have?
The Windows 95. I had countless fun hours, you know, playing that. Just playing it over and over again, like the mystery level. But what happens is, when I wanted to get the new game, I had to upgrade my PC, which is kind of like the same thing as a console. I mean, it might be a little less expensive, but in the long run, it's still, you know, costs amount, maybe even more toward, I don't know, I'm not a big PC gamer, but all I know is that it costs about the same as upgrading a console.
I think it's like when you work on it. See, when you're a PC, this kind of goes back to what Chief was saying on how it's just easier to be a guy playing a console